The desert was silent, broken only by the soft hum of Ryan's hoverbike cutting through the heat waves. He wasn't supposed to be out here. Patrols warned humans to stay away from the outer zones. Too many alien scouts. Too many disappearances. But Ryan had seen the flash in the sky last night. Something had fallen hard. He slowed down as he reached the crash site. Smoke curled into the orange sky. The sand was burned black around a twisted alien vessel, sharp like a blade half buried in the dunes. The ship hissed, sparks flying. Something or someone was alive inside. Ryan parked, drew his small plasma pistol, and moved in. Carefully, then, he heard a sound, not a growl, not a cry. A voice, finally, it said, low and calm. A human brave enough to come closer. Ryan stepped around a chunk of broken metal. Land froze. She sat on a bent golden throne, still half attached to the wreckage. Her skin shimmered like moonlight over steel, smooth but glowing. Long white hair fell over her armored shoulder. Her left leg was injured, bleeding silver onto the floor. Yet she sat straight, head high, like a queen in command, even while broken. Her eyes locked on him, gold and burning. "You will help me," she said. "And I will reward you." Ryan blinked. "You single quotes hurt. What are you?" She tilted her head, amused. "Zayara, first daughter of the Empress, Princess of the Veil Crown, but you may call me your future." Ryan lowered his gun slightly. "You're serious?" She smirked. "Deadly." He looked around. No rescue ships, no drones, just silence and smoke. Ryan had heard of her species before, royal, cold, powerful. They ruled half of Sector 9, and they hated humans. So what was she doing here? Why was she alone? "Why should I help you?" he asked. She leaned forward. "Because I know your name, Ryan Carter. Because I intercepted Earth's military data days ago. Because you're not just a scavenger, you're a survivor of Outpost 12. You lost everyone." Ryan tensed. She was right. Zayara pointed to a small glowing device strapped to her wrist. "I've seen things you can't imagine. I know what's coming. Help me rule again. And I'm all yours, all yours." Ryan raised a brow. "As a knight," she said. Then her voice dropped lower. "Or as something more." Ryan's heart beat faster, but he kept his voice even. "Why are you really here?" Zayara looked away, for the first time, unsure. "Because I spoke of peace. Because I said humans were not animals. My people. They turned on me, shot my ship down. Now I am hunted." Ryan stepped closer. The throne's base sparked. Her leg bled more. "You need help," he said, quieter. "I need loyalty," she replied, "not pity. I don't trust aliens." "Then trust your instinct." "Do I look like someone who begs?" T shook his head. "No. You look like someone used to being obeyed." Zayara gave a slight nod. "Then, obey." Ryan almost laughed. "You've got nerve." Suddenly, a sharp beep sounded on his wrist scanner. 2 ships. Incoming fast. Zayara's eyes narrowed. "Bounty hunters. They followed my trail. If they find me, they'll kill us both," Ryan said quickly. Zayara's eyes burned brighter. "Then choose now. Leave me here or fight with me." Ryan looked at her. She was strange, alien, dangerous, but something deep inside whispered. She was also telling the truth. He turned, ran back to his hoverbike, and yanked a long plasma rifle from the side. Zayara smiled as he returned. "So the human chooses me." Ryan nodded once. "For now." "Then let us not die today," she said softly, placing her hand on his shoulder. The sky behind them roared. 2 enemy ships broke through the clouds. Ryan took position, rifle ready. beside him. The alien princess rose, limping but proud. Sparks of light began to form around her hands, glowing symbols floating in the air. Ancient power. Royal magic. The air turned cold. Ryan stared. "What are you doing?" Zayara's voice was calm and strong. "Showing you why I was born to rule." And as the bounty ships closed in, human and alien stood side by side, ready for war. Asterix smoke filled the air as Ryan and Princess Zayara fled across the dunes. The enemy ships circled overhead, searching, scanning. Ryan's hoverbike groaned under the weight of 2 passengers, one of them bleeding royal blood. Zayara gripped his waist tightly, her breath shaky but her voice calm. "Don't stop," she whispered. "They won't give up." "I wasn't planning to," Ryan muttered, steering hard around a rocky slope. His hidden bunker was close. A few minutes more. Behind them, lasers ripped through the sand, kicking up fire and smoke. One shot grazed the bike's rear engine, making it sputter. Zayara pressed her hand against the wound in her leg. Her blood glowed like silver mercury. They didn't speak again until the thick rock wall of Ryan's hidden shelter opened with a hiss. The entrance sealed just as another laser blast scorched the sand where they had just stood. Inside, everything was quiet. Ryan helped her off the bike and guided her to a steel bench. The bunker was basic food rations, weapons, solar panels, a sleeping cot, and a small medical table. It was never meant for royalty. Zayara looked around. Crude, but safe. Ryan grabbed a medkit. "Let me look at your leg." "I'll heal it myself," she said. But when she tried, her fingers shook. The glowing light from her palm flickered and died. Ryan gently moved her hand away. "You're exhausted. Let me." To his surprise, she allowed it as he cleaned the wound and sprayed sealant foam over the torn skin. He asked, "Why didn't you fight back? In the desert, you said you had power." She looked at him. "I did, but it's fading. Without the throne crystal, I can't maintain it." "Then, we'll get it back," Ryan said without thinking. Zayara raised an eyebrow. "You speak as if you've already joined my cause." He paused. "I don't know what I've joined yet." "You joined me," she said. "That's enough." Ryan stood up and crossed the small room. "Those ships, they weren't just bounty hunters, were they?" Zayara's voice turned sharp. "No, they were loyal to my cousin. He wants me captured before the others. No, I survived, and if they do find out, a civil war," she said simply. "Our empire will burn, and if that happens, Earth will be pulled into it." Ryan stared at her. "You're saying I helped save the galaxy by pulling you out of that wreck?" Zayara tilted her head. Too soon for hero speeches, Ryan. "But yes." He leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "You're not what I expected. Pretty, weak," she challenged. "No," he said. "Sharp, cold. Like a knife made of glass." She smiled. "You should be a poet." "I'm a soldier," he replied. "At least, I was." There was a pause. Then Zayara asked, "What happened to Outpost 12? Ryan's face darkened. "We were attacked at night. By your kind." Zayara looked away. "Not by me. I know," he said. "Hard to forget. You grow up thinking aliens are stories. Then they become monsters." "I grew up thinking humans were animals," she said quietly. "Then I met one who dragged me out of a wreck instead of leaving me to die." Silence stretched between them. Then the warning light blinked red. "Someone's approaching," Ryan said, pulling out his rifle. He checked the screen. One life form, on foot. About 2 minutes out, Zayara stood, though her legs still shook. "They'll try to talk first, then they'll kill." Noted. They waited in silence. A soft knock echoed through the metal door. Then a distorted voice. "This is Agent Tarvik of the Royal Hunters. Turn over the trader and receive 10,000 credits. You have 1 minute. Ryan looked at Zayara. 10,000. That's more than I've ever had in my life. She didn't flinch. Do you want it? He stepped closer, lowered his voice. Why are they offering so much? You're just one person. I'm more than that, she said. I'm a symbol. If I rise again, others will follow. Then, they can't afford to let you live. Zayara nodded once. Ryan turned to the door, rifle ready. He opened the communication line. Wrong place, wrong human. Then he cut the power, and the lights went dark. Zayara raised her hand again, this time with more focus. Ancient symbols glowed in the air. Stay close, she said. I wasn't planning to leave, Ryan answered. The enemy outside charged their weapons. Footsteps ran toward the entrance. Zayara looked at Ryan one last time. If we die, let it be remembered that a human chose an alien queen. And if we live, he asked. Her golden eyes locked on his. Then you'll never be forgotten. The steel door exploded inward, and the real fight began. The floor was covered with smoke and sparks. Ryan's rifle barrel steamed, glowing red. A body hit the ground beside him, one of the bounty agents. Armor cracked open by a blast. Zayara stood in the center of the bunker, breathing hard, her hands glowing dimly with energy. She had barely held on. Her powers were returning, but slowly. Ryan wiped blood from his cheek. That was 3 of them. You said only one was coming. I said one life form, Zayara corrected. The others masked their signals. Cowards. Ryan dropped into the nearest chair, groaning. We can't stay here. No, she said. They'll send more, smarter ones. He glanced at her leg. She'd taken another hit, nothing serious, but enough to slow her down again. Still, she stood tall, refusing to show pain. Zayara raised her wrist device and tapped in a long code. A small projection flickered into the air, a 3D map of a planet Ryan had never seen before. Rings of gold surrounded it like a crown. This is Valeth, my homeworld. The throne world, she said. Ryan stared at it. Looks peaceful. Zayara's expression tightened. It was. Until I tried to change things. She zoomed in to a large fortress high on a cliff that overlooked glowing blue seas. That's where I was born, where I was trained, where I spoke before the royal houses and told them we should not fear humans, but speak with them. Ryan looked at her, and they turned on you for that. No, she said. They laughed. Then they feared. Then they tried to erase me. Ryan stood and walked over to the hologram. You want to go back there? I must go back, Zayara said firmly. My throne isn't just power. It's a gate to the veil, crystal, the source of royal bloodline. Magic. If my cousin bonds with it, the war will start, and no one will be able to stop him. Ryan ran a hand through his hair. Okay, wait. Back up? What's the veil crystal? She turned to him, voice calm but intense. It's alive, and it chooses who may rule. It bonded to me as a child. It made me stronger, faster, able to command light and gravity. But when they shot me down, I lost that connection. And if someone else takes it, you'll break the bond with me, she said, and I will never return to the throne. Ryan exhaled. So this isn't just politics. This is magic. It's science our ancestors mastered. She said, but yes, magic, if you must call it that. Ryan looked at the map again. How far is Valeth? With your technology, weeks, she said. With mine, she tapped her wrist device. 3 days. If we can reach my hidden beacon ship, Ryan frowned. And where's that? Zayara gave a small smile. Buried under the ruins of Outpost 12. Ryan's blood went cold. You're kidding? She shook her head. It's how I learned your name. Your outpost was built over ancient tech we left behind. When I hid the ship there years ago, no one noticed, until it was too late. Ryan turned away, fists clenched. That place, everyone died. I know, she said gently. That's why it's safe now. No one dares return. There was a long silence. Zayara finally spoke again. You don't have to come with me. I can go alone. Ryan turned. Angry? You think I'm going to let you walk into the place that took my friends and family? Her voice dropped. You think I want to return to a place where my people laughed at my dreams? Their eyes met. Then Ryan laughed bitterly. We make a good pair, don't we? Zayara nodded, to broken pieces trying to save something. Bigger. Ryan looked at the map one more time. All right, let's say we get your ship. What then? You fly to your homeworld, march into the fortress, and the crystal just says, welcome back. Zayara looked away. No, I will have to. Face the trial again. If I fail, it will kill me. And if you win. She looked back at him, serious. Then I will be empress. And you, human, will become the most wanted man in the galaxy. Ryan smiled dryly. Too late for regrets. Suddenly, the warning light on the scanner blinked again. Zayara ran to it, her face darkened. What is it? Ryan asked. They're jamming our signal, she said. Which means a full hunter team is coming. How long do we have? Maybe 30 minutes. Ryan grabbed his gear. Then we leave now. She turned to him. Are you sure? He looked at her alien, regal, wounded, determined. I said I don't trust aliens, he said. But I trust you. Now. For the first time. Zayara didn't speak. She simply placed her hand gently over his. The stars waited, and the road too. Valeth had begun. Asterisk the ruins of outpost. 12 rose from the sand like bones from a forgotten graveyard. Ryan stood in silence as the hovercraft slowed to a stop just beyond the twisted remains of broken walls and collapsed towers. The wind howled through empty corridors once filled with voices, his friends. His squad, his past. Behind him, Zayara stepped out, cloaked in a gray hood. Her alien armor shimmered faintly beneath the folds, powered only by the last reserves of her fading strength. She looked at the ruins with respect, not fear. This is where you lost everything, she said quietly. Ryan nodded. And you say your hidden ship is under this place? Zayara tapped a silver disc on her wrist. A glowing symbol appeared in the era-buried chamber deep beneath the surface. Locked away, hidden beneath human ruins. I never thought I'd need it again. Ryan adjusted his weapon. Let's make this fast. They moved quickly through the cracked stone and scorched steel. Ryan knew the paths by heart. Zayara kept her senses sharp, golden eyes scanning every shadow. Every whisper of the wind felt like footsteps. Every flicker of light could be a laser sight. I hated this place, Ryan muttered. But it was home. Zayara didn't answer. She could feel something in the air, too. Not grief, not guilt, jealousy. They reached the chamber entrance, a thick vault door built beneath the mess hall. Zayara placed her palm on a hidden panel. It glowed blue. The ground vibrated as ancient gears moved, and the door slowly opened. Inside was a sleek, narrow ship-alien design, invisible to scanners. Smooth, sharp, and humming with quiet power. It looked alive. The Night Spire, Zayara whispered. She still remembers me. But before they could step inside, the air cracked with a sharp voice. How touching. Ryan spun, weapon raised. A tall figure stepped from the shadows, flanked by 2 armored guards. His robes were black with a silver crown carved into the fabric. His face was pale, sharp, and cruel. Zayara's eyes narrowed. Korthon, her cousin. Still running around with humans. Dear cousin. Korthon said smoothly. How far you've fallen. Zeora stepped in front of Ryan. This is your last warning. Leave now. Korthon smiled. Or what? You'll glare me to death. Look at you, you've lost everything. Your power, your throne, your pride. Ryan raised his rifle. You want to try me instead? Korthon's eyes flicked to him. Ah, the human. You've been busy. See, you've charmed our little exile. She's not an exile, Ryan said. She's the rightful heir. Korthon laughed coldly. She's a traitor. She chose humans over her own blood. And now you follow her, thinking she'll make you a king. Zaira's voice turned sharp. He never asked to rule. No, Korthon said, stepping closer. But you did. And for that, you must be erased. Suddenly, his guards raised their weapons. Zaira threw up her arm, summoning a faint shield of light, but it flickered, unstable. Her powers weren't strong enough yet. Ryan fired first. One guard dropped. The other fired back, forcing Ryan to dive behind cover. Sparks flew. The chamber echoed with fire. Korthon drew a long blade, black, curved, humming with dark energy. He charged at Zaira. Steel clashed. Sparks lit the room as she blocked him with a blade summoned from her wrist. She was slower now, her strength not what it once was. You can't win. Korthon hissed, pressing her back. Zaira gritted her teeth. I don't have to win. I just have to delay. A blast rang out. Ryan, now behind the second guard, pulled the trigger. Korthon turned just as the plasma bolt hit his shoulder. He snarled and fell back, grabbing his cloak and vanishing in a flash of black light. The chamber went silent. Zaira fell to her knees, breathing hard. Ryan rushed to her. Are you all right? I'll survive, she said, voice shaky. He helped her to her feet. Come on. Let's get out of here before he comes back with more. They climbed into the night spire. The moment Zaira touched the control panel, Tessa, the ship lit up from within, panels glowing with ancient runes. The engines hummed like a heartbeat returning. Ryan looked around. This thing's incredible. It was made by the first royals, she said. It only flies for someone the crystal accepts. As the ship lifted off, the ruins of Outpost 12 grew smaller behind them. Ryan sat beside her in the cockpit. That cousin of yours, he won't stop. No, she said. He's too close to the throne now, and I just became a threat again. He turned to her. Then let's show him why that's a mistake. Zaira smiled, tired, but proud. Next stop Valeth, she said, and the stars opened before them. The planet Valeth sparkled below them like a jeweled crown in the dark. From orbit, looked peaceful blue seas, silver cities, tall mountain towers reaching toward the stars. But Zaira knew better. Her cousin Korthon had taken control. Behind those glowing lights were weapons, spies, and a broken people too afraid to speak her name. Inside the night spire, Ryan stared out the viewing window, quiet. He had never seen anything so beautiful, so dangerous. Zaira sat beside him, adjusting the silver cuffs on her wrists. Her armor had changed. The ship recognized her as royal again. Slowly, her power had begun to return. But so had her fear. Once we land, she said, they will test my blood. My strength, my right. Ryan turned. What happens if you fail? She hesitated. I burn. In front of them all. He was silent for a moment. Then, you still want to go through with this? Sawara didn't answer. Instead, she stood and walked to the command table. With a wave of her hand, a new image appeared. Korthon's palace. The new seat of power built over the ruins of the old throne chamber. They will not let me walk in, she said. Not without a gift. What kind of gift? Ryan asked Dodd. She turned to him, eyes heavy. Ryan frowned. Excuse me? Zeora stepped closer. He wants to destroy me, but he fears you because I'm human. No, she said. Because you are loyal. Because you chose me when it would have been easier to walk away. He doesn't understand that kind of bond. It terrifies him. Ryan looked away. And you want to offer me up? Is that the plan? Her voice lowered. Spate. As a distraction, long enough for me to reach the crystal gate. He stared at her, and if they kill me, Zayar's jaw clenched. They won't. But they could. Yes, she admitted. But you are the only one I trust to take that risk. Ryan laughed bitterly. Some gift. Zayara stepped back. I won't command you. I never have. The choice is yours. Ryan didn't answer right away. He stared out at the planet, thinking of Earth, of Outpost 12, of the men and women he'd buried under cold sand. Then he turned to her. I came this far because I believed in you, he said. So I'm going all the way. Zayara's golden eyes flickered with something soft, something rare. Thank you, she whispered. They landed in the outer sector of Valeth, where foreign ships were watched and guarded. The moment the Night Spire touched down, armed soldiers surrounded them. None fired. All were waiting for orders. Zeora exited first, armor gleaming. Ryan followed, wrists bound with glowing cuffs that didn't hurt but looked real. Korthon stood at the foot of the palace steps, smiling like a shadow under the sun. Well, well, he said. The traitor returns. And with a pet, Zeora didn't flinch. Spare your poison, cousin. I come to reclaim what was always mine. Do you? He asked, amused. You think dragging a human through my gates will change fate? No, she replied. But it might distract you long enough for me to rewrite it. Before Korthon could respond, she tossed a small silver orb onto the ground. Smoke exploded. Chaos followed. Ryan threw off his cuffs and tackled the nearest guard. Zayara vanished into the crowd, sprinting for the inner chamber. Korthon shouted, Stop her. She's headed for the crystal gate. Ryan fought through the soldiers, buying her precious seconds. Inside the palace, Zayara ran through halls she hadn't seen in years. Murals of her ancestors stared down at her. She passed the chamber where she once gave her first speech on peace. No time for memories now. She reached the crystal gate. The chamber was cold, silent, and glowing with pulsing blue light. The crystal floated in midair, spinning slowly, humming like a heartbeat. Zayara stepped forward, breath shaking. Do you remember me? She whispered. The crystal flared dread. Angry, it had been touched by another core than double quotes. No, she said. Voice firm. I was born for you. I bled for you. The chamber shook. Light surrounded her. Outside, Ryan was pinned against the wall, disarmed. Korthon raised a blade. She will fail, he said. She's too weak. But before he could strike, the sky exploded with light. A beam shot upward from the palace's heart. The crystal had chosen. Zayara walked out, glowing with power. Her hair floated like fire, her eyes pure gold. The guards dropped to their knees. Korthon stared in horror. No? You were never worthy, Zayara said. Korthon lunged. Ceya raised her hand. He stopped midair. Frozen in light, she didn't kill him. She turned to the crowd. Let him live. Let all of you see what mercy looks like. Ryan staggered. Forward, wide-eyed. You did it. Us. You did it? Zayara turned to him, smiling. No, she said. We did it. And the people of Valeth bowed for the first time in years. Asterisk. The throne hall of Valeth was never meant for humans. Tall crystal pillars stretched toward the ceiling like frozen lightning. The walls shimmered with ancient starlight, moving patterns that recorded every ruler's rise and fall. Now, for the first time in centuries, the great hall stood silent. Filled with tension, Zaira stood at the center. She wore royal armor infused with light from the veil. Crystal-sharp silver lines. Across her chest, a crown of orbiting shards above her head. Power radiated from her skin. The hall accepted her. The city obeyed. But not all hearts had bent to her return. The royal nobles sat along the edges, cloaked in blue and white robes. Some whispered, some frowned. And one stood. It was Lady Chiral, the matron of House Ziv. "This is madness," Chiral said, stepping forward. "She abandoned us. She brought a human into the crystal gate. That is forbidden." Ryan, standing beside Zaira in ceremonial clothes, said nothing. But he could feel the weight of 1,000 alien eyes on him. He wasn't welcome. Not here. Zaira's voice cut through the silence. "I broke no law. The crystal chose. That is the only truth that matters." "But the people fear what you bring," Chiral continued. "You speak of peace, of sharing power, of bonding with a lesser race." The nobles murmured, some in agreement, others in uncertainty. Ryan clenched his fists. Lesser race. He wanted to say something. This wasn't his world. Zaira stepped down from the center. "Ryan Carter is no less than any of us. He fought beside me when none of you would. He stood before my enemies when I had no throne." Words, Chiral spat. "Show us deeds." Zaira smiled. "Then challenge me." "By blood." A hush swept the room. Chiral's eyes widened. "You would risk it all before the flame." "I welcome it," Zaira said. "Let the fire of judgment decide." Ryan leaned toward her. "What is that?" "A ritual," she whispered. "An ancient duel. Spirit against spirit. It reveals the truth of one's heart." Chiral had no choice. Refusal meant surrender. The nobles cleared the hall. A ring of golden fire rose from the floor. Surrounding Zaira and Kyrl, Ryan watched helplessly from the edge. A voice echoed across the chamber deep, ancient, in a language he didn't understand. But he felt its meaning. Let fire judge. Let flame crown. Chiral drew a long spear made of white flame. Zaira summoned her blade of crystal light. They clashed. The flames roared higher as they moved. Sparks shot into the air. Chiral moved like a storm, powerful and fast. Zaira was precise, patient, every strike chosen, every block perfect. Still, she struggled. Her powers were still growing. Chiral had years of experience. "She's tired," Ryan whispered. Then Chiral struck hard. Zaira's blade flew from her hand, skidding across the floor. She fell to one knee. Chiral raised her weapon. "This is your queen." Weak, sentimental, blinded by humans. Ryan stepped forward, but guards blocked him. "Let me through," no one said. The fire must choose. Zaira looked up, breathing heavy. Then, slowly, she stood. "I am not weak," she said. "I am changed." The flames responded. They turned white-hot, rising like wings behind her. Her hand reached out and her blade flew back into her grip. Chiral hesitated. Zaira struck Dot in a burst of light. Chiral's weapon shattered. The fire pulled her to the ground. Not in death, but in surrender. Zaira stood above her, blade glowing. She looked to the nobles. "Is there any other who questions me?" Silence. Then Chiral spoke. "I yield my queen." The fire vanished. The chamber was still. And then they bowed. One by one, the nobles dropped to their knees. Even the guards. The chamber pulsed with warm light. Zaira turned to Ryan. "Come." He stepped forward, unsure. "What now?" She smiled. "Now you stand with me. Before all," he joined her at the center. Her voice rose. This human walked beside me when I had no crown. He fought, bled, and believed in me. And now I name him Guardian of the Crown. Gasps dot shock, but no one opposed. Ryan's chest tightened. Are you serious? Zeora looked at him. You saved my life more than once. I want the galaxy to know what loyalty looks like. Ryan didn't know what to say. So he bowed. Zeyar. Placed her hand on his shoulder. Let this day be known. The fire chose me, and I choose all who stand for peace. And the crown of light descended on her head complete. She was now Empress of Valeth, of her people, and maybe something even greater. The stars above Valeth burned brighter than ever. The celebrations had lasted through the night. Dancers in silver robes twirled across marble courtyards. Children lit blue lanterns that floated into the sky. Trumpets sang the return of the true Empress. But inside the palace, in the high tower overlooking the capital, 'twas quiet. Ryan stood by the balcony, staring at the lights below. He wore a long black coat lined with royal silver and honor gift, given only to the Empress's most trusted. Still, he felt like a stranger wearing someone else's clothes. Behind him, the tall doors opened with a whisper. Zayara entered, dressed. Not in armor, but in a flowing white gown made of veil thread, a material that shimmered like soft fire. Her crown floated just above her head, spinning slowly. Yet in this room, she looked calm, softer, almost human. She stopped beside him, hands folded. They cheer now, she said. But not all hearts have changed. Some still wait for me to fall. Ryan smirked. That's politics. Even humans aren't free from that. Zara glanced at him. And what about your heart? Has it changed? He looked at her, not even once. She stepped closer. Then why do you keep looking at me like you're about to leave? Ryan sighed. Because I don't belong here, Zayora. I'm just a soldier from a forgotten outpost. I don't understand your customs. I don't speak your language. And now, you sit on a throne made of starlight. Zayara said nothing for a long moment. Then, softly, you once said you didn't trust aliens, but you chose me anyway. Didn't choose you because you're alien, Ryan said. I chose you because you were alone, and brave, and real. She touched his hand gently. You gave me something no one else dared to offer. What? She smiled. A future? He swallowed hard. You don't owe me anything. Zayara stepped in front of him, looking directly into his eyes. That's where you're wrong. She placed something in his hand, a small silver pendant, shaped like the veil crystal. It's a binding charm, she said. Worn only by the Empress's chosen. Ryan blinked. Are you proposing something? Her golden eyes sparkled. I don't speak in riddles, Ryan. I want you by my side, not as a guardian. Not as a symbol, but as mine. He looked at the pendant, then back at her. I don't know what kind of life that would be. She nodded. Neither do I, but I'd rather build it with you than sit alone in a palace full of cold mirrors. Ryan closed his fingers around the charm. Then he looked up and said, Then I am yours. Zayara smiled. Outside, the tower bells rang 3 times. It was time for her first royal speech. They walked together through the palace, past rows of guards who bowed in perfect rhythm. Servants opened massive doors to the balcony above the central square, where thousands of citizens had gathered below. Zayara stepped forward. The crowd hushed. She raised her hand, not high like a command, but low, like an invitation. I was born into power, she began, but I never truly understood it until I lost everything. She glanced at Ryan, who stood behind her. No longer in chains, no longer in shadow. I thought strength came from bloodlines, she continued. From crystal, from magic. but true strength comes from those who stand beside you when the world falls apart. There was silence, then whispers, then cheers, thunderous, rising cheers. I will not rule with fear, she said. I will rule with unity, and if anyone still doubts what loyalty looks like. She reached back and pulled Ryan forward. This human did not kneel to a crown. He did not run from fire. He stood with me, not as servant, but as equal. Gasps echoed. Zayara raised her voice. And today, I offer him more than gratitude. I offer him place. A beam of light from the veil, crystal lit the balcony. It circled Ryan and did not reject him. The crowd erupted in awe inside the palace. Ancient systems recorded the moment. For the first time in the Empire's long history, a non-alien stood at the side of the Empress. Later that night, when the stars were quiet again, Ryan sat beside Zayara on the rooftop garden. He looked up. Do you think your people will truly accept me? She leaned against him. Some already have. The others will, in time. He smiled. And if they don't, she turned to him. Then we make our own empire. Their fingers laced together, and above them, the sky shimmered not with warships or smoke but with promise. Asterisk